Hi, Dr. Yerby here. In this video I'm going to try to demonstrate how you can use Encase Imager to acquire a VMDK virtual machine hard drive. So first you want to download the software, and you can do that free of charge at the Encase website. When you download it, it really just comes as an executable file, which I'll go ahead and open here. I'm running version 7.1 is the current version. Let me find Encase Imager. Alright, so I'm going to run the executable file. And the reason I have my computer open here, watch my resource utilization. So this is something that you have to keep in mind while you're running this. So right now I have 52 gigs of free space on my C drive. What I'm going to do is I want to add an evidence file. I'm going to browse to the location on my hard drive where I have some virtual machines, or the one that I'm interested in. So I can do a VMDK or I can do a VHD. So this is a virtual hard disk. So I'm going to select this. It's a Windows Vista machine with an old version of Internet Explorer, and we'll say that's what is of interest to us. So you'll see it'll load in this way, and it'll give us some pretty basic information, but right now there's been no processing. So this is actually a hyperlink. I can click this link, it's going to expand it. You can see down here it's building the hierarchy in the lower right corner. And now what I can do from here is I can select the entire hard drive, and if I want to create an image file, I'll just go to acquire. I can give it a name, give it an evidence number, give it a case number, Then I can tell it where I want to save the file. So I'm going to save this on a different drive because it's going to take up some hard drive space. All right. And right now you see the format is Ex01. We'll talk about that in just a second. So that's where the location. The format, I can use the current version of the E01 file or legacy. Remember, the E01 is really Encase's file format, so while you may have different options in Imager or FTK Imager to do RAW files, smart files, AFFs, E01s, this is Encase's product, so they are using either an E01 or an E01. The compression, we just have the option of enabled or disabled. We don't get to select the level of compression. We can select different types of hashing for image verification. And then the file segment size, the default is 2 gig pieces. And so remember, if I do this and I have a 10 gig drive, I'm going to get about 5 files. The first one's going to say E01, the next one will say E02, E03, E04, E05. But to be able to use those in a forensic analysis, we'll need to have all 5 of those files. Breaking them up into those 2 gig segments can be useful for moving them, can be useful for putting them on like a USB drive that is formatted as FAT, where you might have some size restriction limitations. But for me, I kind of want a clean, single size, single E01 file. So here you have the option to either segment it out or put in a very large number. Other imagers you can put in 0, and that will say don't break it up regardless of size. With the Encase Imager, I think it has like a 30 terabyte limit or something. You can select encryption if you like that, and I'm going to go ahead and keep these the same. We have here. So I'm going to tell it OK, and it's starting to acquire. I'm trying to figure out where it's going to use the most resources right offhand. As it starts to acquire. So right now I have 52 gigs free on C, 1.3 free on my S drive, and down here I can see the progress. It's probably going to take nearly an hour, so I'm going to probably end this video at this point, but that is how you would create your E01 forensic image using Encase Imager. Thanks. At this point, my image acquisition has completed, and we see that with the compression enabled, I was able to get my Ex01 file. It ended up being about 6.2 gigs, and it's saved in the location that I wanted it saved. And then we can also see some useful information here on the report field. We can see when this was last accessed, when the file was created, So it looks like this is a pretty old virtual machine that I created back in November 2nd, 2006 at 5 a.m. And then the last time I was playing with it was in April 2009 at 2:37 a.m. So it looks like good old Dr. Yerby stays up very late. It gives us a lot of information about the image. It tells us the size, it tells us different permissions, the type of operating system, the file format, NTFS here. This was a Vista. It gives me the different people on the system here, different groups, and then I can also look through here on different fields and it'll give me various pieces of information, some of the same ones there. We can also look at performance. Since I've had Encase Imager started, there's several different statistics that it can give me. It can tell me how long the user, me, has been working in the system, how much data has been read. I'm not sure exactly what the ticks mean. I'm sure I could look that up, or you could look that up to figure out the number of ticks. But this is all the useful information, and again, we were able to create an E01 or Ex01, which is their newer format, using Encase Imager on a VHD file, a virtual hard disk, or we could have done the exact same procedure for a VMDK. Thank you, and I hope that this has been helpful.